Community. It's a great day. My name is Sheila Hardy, and I'm the founder and CEO of Because It's Personal. And here with me is my co-host, Ericka Scott of Life Changers, Inc. And this is the Community Nonprofit Not Network Podcast, aka CNN. Our motto is, where your nonprofit shines. Ericka, what are we talking about today?
Well, Sheila, thank you for that introduction. Today, we are talking about how to effectively communicate for your nonprofit.
So, what does communication have to do with your nonprofit?
Well, let's talk about it.
Well, first it should start, or what do I need? What do I need and what do I want is the first thing.
Okay, what am I supposed to say?
Pause. What?
Okay.
Because at first it says, first it starts with me. So what I did was I just said, so what do I need to do and what do I want? Should we take that out?
Well, no, I thought you were going to talk about that, like how to communicate to express what you need. Or no?
Okay.
Or do you want me to take it?
I thought that you were taking. That's what I thought you were taking that. I said, what would I need and what do I? So what do I need and what do I want?
Okay. Okay. That's just miscommunication. Okay. So you already said, what do I need and what do I want?
So what would I need and what would I want? Where would it start first?
Well, the first thing I suggest is that you get a system for your communication. That would be a phone number that's just for your nonprofit. That would be an email that's just for your nonprofit. You can get a Gmail, which is totally free and connects with other Google apps and other apps outside of Google, as well as there are paid email options as well. So, for instance, all of our techie stuff for Life Changers comes through GoDaddy, and our Office 365 Outlook is through, that's a Microsoft thing, comes through GoDaddy as well. And that way you get to connect your domain. Ours is lifechangersinc.org. So my email is Ericka@lifechangersinc.org. So that would be the email that you get from me on behalf of the nonprofit. So you have your phone and you have your email. While you and I, thank you, Sheila, you have reintroduced me to Skype. So Skype is great, even if you don't want to use the video conferencing, as we discussed in our networking podcast episode, and you just want to use it for phone usage, for phone calls. Skype is also now has a way for you to get a phone number through Skype. I don't know any details about it, but if you're interested, just Google how to get a Skype phone number. And then you have so you have the phone number that you can get with Google Voice, totally free. You have the email you can get through Google, a Gmail account, totally free. And you have a Skype or video conferencing. You can also use Google Meet, as we also mentioned in the networking episode. So that's the groundwork for your communications. That covers the how. So now you ask, what does communication have to do with your nonprofit? Using any of those messages, using any of those methods, you would send out emails requesting volunteers, or if you put your nonprofit information on, say, Cobb Community Foundation, where my nonprofit, Life Changers, is, and that's where we get all of our community service workers. You would use the email that you have set up for your nonprofit to be the point of contact, or the phone number. I get them both ways. You also, if you are doing ads, if you're using, here's a resource, everybody, Google for nonprofits. If you have the ads, you can use phone number extensions. I think it's called call extensions. And that's when someone can call you directly from the ad. Or you can just have them come to your website. So your website is also a great form of communication.
That's awesome. Wow. And hopefully everybody is using that. I don't know. I'm hoping. Okay, great. So what do you think is next on that agenda where communicating with, especially if you want volunteers and or even your board members, what do we look for in order to communicate what we want from our volunteers? For example, what type of questions should I ask to get the type of volunteers and board members that I really want?
Like on an application that you have them filling out?
Yeah, it could be the application or even just talking one-on-one like we're doing Skype. What kind of questions would I ask concerning about, if this is a good fit, if this person is a good fit for, the nonprofit? Right. And how do I communicate that to find out if they are a good fit?
Well, that would definitely be a Q&A, a much-needed Q&A session. And you should interview your volunteers, your interns, your board of directors, and even your community service workers, just like you would paid staff. So a question like, after reading our mission and vision statement, what is your perspective, or what is your perspective on our mission and vision statement? How do you see being, hold on, what did I say? How do you see do you see yourself being instrumental in helping further the cause?
Got it.
So those would be two really good questions. What's their perspective, and do they think they have any knowledge, past experience, anything that would help further the cause?
Agreed. Because I believe that all nonprofit visionaries are looking for like-minded people, because I believe that once we get people that at least, think a little bit like us, we can be assured that, this person or these people can help help us attract other like-minded nonprofits to connect with each other and to further our goals.
Right.
So that's great. That's great. What about work ethics? What do you think about work?
I'm sorry, it almost sounded like you were about to say earth, wind, and fire.
Yeah, what about earth, wind, and fire?
Sound like she's taking this nature thing a little too far.
And there's nothing wrong with earth, wind, and fire, because sometimes you have personalities of earth, wind, and fire. So how can we communicate when we have those personalities of like earth, wind, and fire?
Well, it would be, okay, what's the question? I'm sorry. I got lost in this.
Work ethic?
Work ethic. Work ethic is one of those things that people will tell you what you want to hear or what they think you want to hear, but it really is a matter of trying, test, show, and prove. So you give them a small task, say, for instance, you give them an email list, right? And say I ask you, okay, well, Sheila, we have a mass mailing we're about to do, and do you know how to use Excel to handle that, to get the person's information, merge it? And you say, oh, yeah, I know how to do that. Well, so how long do you think? Because I always put everything in their court. You're going to tell me your timeline, and you tell me, okay, well, I'll have it by the end of the day. And here it is. We're just coming back from lunch. So that gives you about 4.5, 5 hours. And so I check in with you at about 3:30, see how it's going. Oh, well, I got busy, but I'll still have it. And meanwhile, I come back around 4:30 and you're not at your desk. So that kind of tells me that when you don't know how to do something, you're nowhere to be found. And people do that all the time. They don't know how to do something. They don't want to do something, and they find either other little insignificant tasks to complete first, or they just disappear.
Wow. That's interesting how some people just disappear.
Yes. Poof.
Yeah. Yeah. Poof. Well, that's interesting. Okay. So, what about the question why? I like that question because sometimes we'll ask people, you want to be a part of, my nonprofit or a nonprofit, but why do you want to be a part of this nonprofit? And I really like that word why, because it gives you a little bit of information as to, why this person really wants to be a part. Now, you do have some people that want to be a part, but don't want to do the work.
Right.
Some people, I've noticed that there's some people that, once you get everything going, then I'll be a part. And to me, I don't know. That's kind of scary.
Those are your cheerleaders.
Yeah, so
not to say cheerleaders aren't athletes. They're just not in the game. Correct.
So I'll just go ahead and give them their pom-poms and then go from there. Okay. Well, one thing about it is that, we were talking about being your true self, and that's the thing that, nonprofit visionaries need to really watch for, watch people as they do certain tasks and everything, just like you said. And I believe you said, or you were about to say, watch how they follow through with what they say. And that's what you gave. You gave that really great analogy. And that's really good. Now, what about, leadership communication? What do you think about that?
Well, leadership is crucial. If you don't know what leadership even entails, then you don't know how to carry it out. The body follows the head. That's all it boils down to. And so your number one goal is making sure that your whole team, whether you're like Atlanta based and you have an office in LA, you still need to make sure the whole team is on the same path, on the journey, along the journey to complete the mission each and every day. And the vision, is the overall goal, the end goal. And to make sure everybody's focus is there. And, you keep your eyes on the prize, and you won't get off track, or they won't get off track too often. And it's a whole lot easier for them to bounce back, get back on track, as opposed to someone who you're doing prison reform and here they want to save senior citizens from rundown nursing homes. Pump the brakes, because that's a way different journey. That's not the vision. That has nothing to do with the mission outside of like human services. But we are a specific, targeted organization, and that is prison reform. We'll pray for the seniors.
Right. Okay. Um, and would you agree that, we have to consistently go over the mission, go over the vision, and go over the details of what we need to accomplish throughout the time that we're together in meetings? What do you think about that?
I can't remember what company it is, but a company or two, probably a few of them, in their, I think it is weekly, like Monday morning meetings, everybody recites out loud what the mission and vision are. So, because, the mission is only like one or two sentences, and as with the vision as well. And so you're only talking about maybe 30 seconds to recite them. But having everyone say them out loud as opposed to just reading them, or it's at the top of your, memo or whatever, that, it ingrains it in them, like, okay, we're on a mission to, reduce incarceration and recidivism among young adults in the United States, something like that. And so that, you speak it into existence, and that's what everybody's efforts are going toward, reducing the rate of incarceration and recidivism amongst young adults in the United States. Rah, rah, rah. And you tell your cheerleaders, rah, rah, rah,
Yeah,
So,
right.
but everybody's on, the same journey.
That sounds great. So what you're saying is just stay focused on the vision and the mission, and you're likely to stay on task.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. What about organization? I know we talk about that a lot, and then there's times when you try to be organized, and it could be where one person is not organized. How would you work with that person that they have the passion, but they're just not organized enough um, to, to to keep going with everybody else? How would you deal with that?
Well, I would look for their strengths and maybe reduce their load to just maybe one or two tasks or projects that their strengths can like really, get can really get a great um outcome.
Hmm.
Or wait a minute. I would, feels like somebody's in here with me. But sorry. I would look for their strengths and maybe take some of the things off their plate and just leave them with like one or two tasks or projects to work on that their strength that speak to their strengths. Because some people just, they're so unorganized that if you give them six small things, they just can't handle it. Between email and paperwork, even if it is online filing, it's still, I put it in the wrong folder and now I can't find it. And, just give them one or two things to do.
Okay, sounds good. Um, what about putting people in the wrong positions? There are times when you see their strengths and you see their weaknesses, but there are times when they may not be in the right position. Um, so what do you think? What do you think about that? Because some people they say, I can do this, but yet you're finding out that they can't, that they're not capable of doing it right then and there. How would you go about just explaining to them that, you know what, I know you probably can't do this, but right now we need you over here, or we want some of your expertise over here for now. How would you go about that also?
And that goes along with the people who disappear. Um, I would, I mean, you hit the nail right on the head. I would honestly, the first time, yeah, I would reassign them to something else, and you may have to reassign them a few times, honestly. If they have good work ethic, they come in on time, and they're giving their best, but I don't believe in their best is not enough, especially in a nonprofit, because there's so much to do and you are relying heavily on volunteers and, unpaid workers, interns, community service, board of directors. But I think so. I think there's some place where you can put them, even if it is, can you be secretary of the meetings? Can you take care of, can you handle the inventory management? Let us know, just go take inventory once a week and handle the ordering. There's something, I guarantee you, there's something they can do.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. What about listening skills when it comes down to leadership?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Listening is the number one form of communication a leader must, not should, not could, not might need to learn, but must master. And that's because 90% of communication is what? Nonverbal. So you're not just listening for the words coming out of someone's mouth. You're listening to how they say it, the context in which they use it, and the things that are not said. And as a leader, that's something that comes with time, but you do need to, get a hold of, like Miles Monroe, Dr. Miles Monroe. He was, requested worldwide for his leadership training, and for good reason. Excellent. He's on YouTube. You don't have to go worldwide looking for him, looking for his, unfortunately, he's deceased, but his stuff is on YouTube and just as pertinent now as it was then. So, and there's plenty of them out there, but if you don't have it, don't let that stop you from starting your nonprofit or joining a nonprofit, that may only have like one, like the founder, maybe the nonprofit right now, but that is a great way because look, who are you going to lead? First, you got to lead yourself. Right? You have to lead yourself. If how are you going to tell somebody to get in the office on time and you're not there on time? And personally speaking, when I say on time, I'm talking about at least 5-10 minutes early. I don't believe in, my day starts at 8 and I'm walking in at 7:59 or even 8 o'clock. That's just me. But I think as a leader, you're charged with leading the pack. You put yourself in that position when you start a nonprofit. And if that's not one of your strong suits, you're coming out of maybe a clerical position where you didn't have to be in a leadership role or even, be around leadership, the leaders of that company or organization, like I said, join an organization and learn. There's still a lot to be said about on-the-job training, and leadership is one of those. It's not. Some people say, well, you either have it or you don't. Some people are natural born leaders. I don't know. I don't know. But I know, yeah, you must have it. Whatever, by any means necessary, get it.
All right. And listening, really, there is an art to listening.
Yes.
Because sometimes the person that's talking can leave out a lot of things, and you actually have to ask certain questions to understand exactly where they're coming from.
Yes.
Because I know since I've gotten older, for us older, entrepreneurs and nonprofits, is where some of us, there's times when I thought I said something, and then the other person took it in another way. And it's like, oh boy. So when it comes down to even explaining or expressing yourself to someone else, there has to be a way to find out, okay, are you understanding where I'm coming from? Does that make sense? can we agree that such and such and such is the way to go? And once that person said yes, now I have had situations where a person would agree and then turn around the next time and say, but I thought you said this.
Right.
And that drives me nuts. I'm not going to say anybody else. That drives me crazy because it said, wait a minute, I thought we agreed and I thought we said, and thank God for recordings.
Yes.
Because that actually, you got to go back and say, okay, let's go over the recording of the meeting and then, go from there. But yeah, that drives me bonkers because it's where, we agree to agree on something. And then all of a sudden this person said, but I thought you said this. Because I actually have had a situation where I had thought a person had said something. I really did. I thought they had said a certain thing. And they said, no, I didn't say that. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. All right. So that happens. It happens, ladies and gentlemen. It does. It happens. So the bottom line is just to get it back in order. Try to get that back in order. And then again, I think once we start talking again and say, and the person that's talking saying, you know what, does everybody understand what I'm saying or how I'm articulating this? Because there are times when I'll start saying something and I'm like, wait a minute, I need to say this another way because it's not computing with my head. So I need to say it another way in order for you to understand where I'm coming from, because that's what communication is.
Right.
If you think about it, it is about you don't have to agree. It doesn't mean that you have to agree with the person. It means that I understand where you're coming from. And for me, and see, there's times when you have people with ADHD and they don't know it and you don't know it and you trying to figure out what the heck. And then there's people that that if you talk really fast and they talk slow, they're not getting it.
Lost in translation.
Real quick and everything like that, and they and they are slow to talk and slow to comprehend. That's rough.
Those are two different communication, types though, because you have slow people who are smart as a whip and will pick it up no matter how fast you speak. They just don't speak as fast. And then you have people who are fast talkers and dumb, just,
Right. But they
don't get it.
Believe you me, when you're taught about sales, and you want to communicate, there's a rapport.
Right.
And so with that rapport, if you're talking to somebody and they say, hello, yes, you don't say, well, this is
right.
That you got to really be careful, because when you're talking about the rapport part, then that's when the salesperson has to slow themselves down.
Right.
And that's when the rapport comes in, where they say, oh, hi, this is
right.
Such and
exactly.
Such and such.
Exactly.
And so that's where, listening is really a big part in how to communicate with that person, because you want to make that sure that person understands where you're coming from and vice versa.
Right.
Does that make sense? Okay.
Right. Yes,
and you notice I said, does that make sense? So that's another thing. That's another thing. Okay. Well, one thing that with nonprofits, especially with new nonprofit visionaries, the type of resources that fuel their mission is not just the mission itself, but the people that are behind the mission. Do you agree with that?
I do. But pause. Are we about halfway through?
We're done. I'm trying to.
We're done.
Yeah, we're actually, and we haven't done the what would you do, but the what would you do is not going to take that long.
Wait a minute, because when I just had that call, it was 4:30. It's only 5 o'clock. How
Oh
much
my
time are
goodness.
you seeing on the clock?
Um, about 30 minutes.
Okay, so we're only halfway done.
Yeah, but okay, but what I'm about to do, or about to say is not going to take but probably 10 minutes or less. So
Okay.
that's why I was saying it's like, we're almost done.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let me go back to the thing here. Okay. So, the last thing that I have here, let me go back to it, is, agreement on the mission and the vision statement. How do we do that? I don't think I said anything about that. Um,
Thought we did.
we did, the last thing was the listening is the key skill leadership thing. And then next is what would you do?
Okay, so what were you just talking about when I interrupted you?
We were just talking about the listening, I guess the listening skills.
Okay, you
Um,
want to top that off?
well, I thought I did. I thought I thought I did, but,
It sounded like you were going into another like section. That's why I cut it
the
off
only
there.
thing that I was going to go into was, I think, did I already say about the resource or what
That's what you were
resources?
saying. That's what you were
Okay,
saying.
okay, okay. Well, okay, pause. What resources would you suggest to fuel that mission that we're on? And I believe, and I think that I said this before, that the people that surrounds us that are like-minded actually helps us to fuel our vision and our mission.
Yes.
And when you have those people around you or surrounding you with, you know, um, go get him, go get him, Sheila. I know sometimes you get tired or whatever, but we can do this. It's
Right.
always good to always have those people with the pom poms to say, go get it. This is great. And
Yes.
so there are times when you need that. And, one thing about it is that I know once we start encouraging each other, even though it's like, I'm volunteering to do this.
Right.
That's when is this a passion or is this a job?
Right.
And of course, the visionaries is their passion because they that's what came up in their minds.
Right.
But when you have people that's coming or surrounding you and saying, you know what, I really like this vision, I really like this mission, I want to be a part. And now you have to find out, okay, what are you willing to do? Because I need people that's going to cheer me on when I just get tired,
Right.
or to take the reins when I say, you know what, I can't do this right now. I have an emergency, and that trust again. We talked about that before.
Yes.
Trust is really, really important because the visionarian, did I say that right? The vision person. Whoa, the
The
person that has the
visionary.
vision.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, if something should happen, they should feel confident enough that somebody on the board, will just take the reins. And, the person could get, I could get sick. Let's say I
Right.
could get sick. I need some rest. I don't need to be working. And all I got to do is say, hey, such and such and such, we need to get this done this week. Will you be able to do it? Yeah, sure. That's the type of relationship or communication that we should have with our board, with our volunteers, with anybody that surrounds us with, helping this vision come to pass.
Right.
So that's a big, big deal. What do you think?
Whew, I'll say this. Um, Coming from years in long haul trucking, I used to, and the only reason I say that is I used to think it was maybe a Georgia thing or even a Southeastern thing. But after, trucking from Massachusetts to San Diego and from Seattle to Miami, I have developed a saying, and it's sad to say, but it's true. You can't pay people to do their job. And I say that because people are sorry, for lack of a better term, or just poor employees. Let's say that. Poor employees. And you'll have volunteers that will outshine them on a stormy day, and still be the ones, the volunteer will still be the one coming in 10, 15 minutes early to open up for everybody. Whereas you have an employee who's got their person and time clock, their time card, standing there waiting for the clock to, hit 5 o'clock so they can leave. Well, who do you want on your squad? And at that point, it's not even a matter of who are you paying? It's a matter of who's going to make sure the job gets done. Like you said, who's going to be there to help lift everybody else up? I may not be having a great day, but you are. You may be, not in the best of moods, and I am. So, it's a matter of picking the right team. And I'll tell you, folks, and Sheila, how many times? If I've said it 100 times, I've said it 10,000. It is a numbers game. And the reason why I say that is because, yes, people they can be gung-ho for, human services and prison reform and animal rescues and, but when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, okay, well, the kennels need to be cleaned out. We need a merchandise run, or, the delivery truck broke down. Can you go help them offload it onto another vehicle? Oh, wait a minute. That's grunt work. I came here to be the cheerful giver, So that's, and it often is a numbers game. Sometimes you have to play checkers with your people to see who, like you said, fits into that right position. And, but hey, as long as the leader maintains their passion, no matter what kind of day they're having, they'll make sure it gets done, because as the leader, you have to be gung-ho to go do that grunt work.
I agree. I totally agree with that. It's really interesting because if you've never been in a nonprofit before, and people want to help people, that's no problem. People always, it's in us. I believe it's in us to want to help people.
Yes.
The thing of it is that the wanting and the doing is two different things.
Right.
And
because they don't want to do.
Right. And with that, because I don't know if it's because I'm old school, because I was taught this, where even no matter if it was a job or whether I was working in the church, because a lot of times, if you think about it, when you're working in the church, you're not getting paid. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some people getting paid, but I'm talking about the people that don't get paid.
Right.
You can see where their heart is and
Yes.
what they want to do concerning giving. And then there's some people that just want to be in the limelight. I was part of this, and they didn't do a hill of beans, nothing. They was like, I was a part of it. Okay, fine. So you start seeing a lot of these personalities that come out. I mean, people were talking about how there's some people that just they're narcissists. I don't know if anybody has narcissist support. I don't know. And somebody needs to call in and let us know. Did you find out that there was a narcissist in your nonprofit? That's because we got all different types of personalities.
Yeah, and that's one that can easily be hidden for the first, short period of time.
Right. It's gonna come out. Eventually. And when it comes out, it's like, oh shoot.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Right. Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah. And it's like, now with that, how would you deal with that? Because it's like, whoa, okay, I don't know you. What is your name again? So
Right.
it comes down to, let's keep this in a focused type manner.
Right.
And we actually need to learn how to, especially leaders. I think all of us, no matter who we are, because you can't be a leader without being led. It just
Exactly.
doesn't work. So
Exactly.
you have to be led sometime. And
Right.
even in your leadership, you still have to be led.
You have to learn from your people.
You
You have to learn,
have to.
and that's some people, start something because they want to be the boss.
Right.
They don't want anybody being the boss of them.
I had
And that
that.
is such the wrong approach,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know any of them who actually made it either in a for-profit or a nonprofit. I
Mm-hmm.
know some struggling nonprofits now, and it's easy to see why they're struggling. And I don't mean just in donations, fundraising efforts, or anything like that. I mean just in like direction and get their own morale is low. Well, like I said earlier, if the leadership morale is low, then what do you, if you get people in the door, where do you think they're going to start off with?
Right.
It's like, oh, we have a pity party, a complaint center to clock in at every day. Nah.
Yeah, I get it. Well, we're going to now change on up, and we're going to talk about what would you do. That's a
Okay.
segment. That's a segment that we will be doing. Hopefully, every time we come together. So here's the first question. You ready, Ericka?
Well, first, may I pause and give a shout out to Ashley, who is working her petunias off to help us get this podcast up and growing and out in front of everybody. So if you're listening to this, the CNN podcast, it is because of Ashley of Greater ATL Web Design, and you can contact her at Greater ATL Web Design at gmail.com, or you can visit our website, thecnnpodcast.com, and go to either advertise or contact us, and her information is there as well. Why would you need marketing for a nonprofit? Simple. Do you want donations? Well, you get your podcast out in front of people, the right people, and that's what the right marketer does for you. Do you want volunteers? Do you want community service workers? Do you want interns? Do you want board of directors? Well, marketing gets you known, and that's what Ashley does. So again, visit our website, thecnnpodcast.com, go to the advertise page or the contact page, and her information is right there.
Sounds great. I mean, she's awesome.
Yes.
All right. We wouldn't steer you wrong.
Nope.
All right. So here we go. What would you do? All right. Let's say you had to have an emergency meeting. It was something that needed to be said to your whole group. And you found out one of your staff members couldn't attend. And, you let that go for a bit. And then you found out that they just didn't want to be there. They lied concerning about not being able to make it. So the question is, what would you do?
Well, okay, so somebody was supposed to be at an emergency meeting, last minute meeting, and they came up with a lie why they weren't there, and then perhaps slipped and was bragging about some wheelies they were doing on the dirt track or something.
Okay, we can do that. Okay.
That's easy. They would be spoken to, and because it was a lie, it is a lie, and liars aren't allowed. No liars allowed. So I would kindly let them go, but not before letting them know I don't suggest you put us down as a reference.
Gotcha. So what I'm hearing is that you would talk to them um, individually, you would not individually. I'm sorry. You would talk to them one on one,
Yes.
and you would let them know that, okay, I found out that you could have come to the emergency meeting and it was an emergency, and you actually just lied to us,
Right.
and so we actually don't need that in our group.
Sure
And
don't.
I'm sorry, but we have to let you go. So is that
I'm
what you're
not
saying?
sorry, but I hate that it didn't work out.
Oh, I hate that, didn't you? Okay, that's fine. All right. Well, I guess I would be lying. I'm sorry I had to let you go. Okay. But no, actually, no, it wouldn't be lying because, I would be sorry that had to happen. So, because, you don't want
Yeah,
that
I
to
mean,
happen.
you can look at it that way. Yeah, I'm sorry that it didn't work out, but
Yeah.
I just, when I've let people go, I've never said I'm sorry. Like I hate that you felt that way, or you felt that you had to go to that extent, or you felt that you couldn't come to me. But at the same time, in that instance, in this example, hey, when you were hired, or during your interviewing process, I asked you point blank. We do have emergency meetings from time to time. Would that be a problem? And that's simply because, of course, you may have, a single parent or someone caring for an elderly parent, who may not be able to make a last minute meeting because they have to have, time to prepare for someone to take their place. But you're out here, doing donuts on the racetrack. No, that's, nope.
Okay. All right. Donuts on the
I want to be out
racetrack.
there too, but I had to be.
Yeah, yeah,
Y'all
I
are
hear
messing
you.
up, and I need to let you know that.
There
No.
you go. There you go. Wow. Okay. Well, this is another question that is really a good question. What if you found out that your member or one of your members was rude to a donor?
Who say it ain't so? I feel like Fred Sanford clutching my chest now.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
no.
Coming to see you, Elizabeth. Yeah. It's like,
As hard
whoa.
as we work to get them, and you did what? Well, first and foremost, I went. Okay, first of all, yes, you bring them in to a one, for a one-on-one um, consultation and corrective consultation, and let them know, you know, just in general. I don't care if you're answering phones at a tow yard, or a recycling plant. You just don't if anybody feels disrespected, then that means there's something, not that it's always your fault. Look, 40 years in customer service, folks, I'm not saying everything that someone says about you is your fault. What I am saying is, in a nonprofit, we have to be especially gentle with our people, volunteers, intern, and I'll keep saying it. They're coming, clocking in for free, maybe for a letter of recommendation, but a donor who's actually going in their own pocket, swiping their card, filling out that PayPal, donation. Oh, no. You handle them with, you know, I don't care if they're giving $50 a month, $500 a month, or $5 a month, or $5 one time. Just the thought that how many there's over 1.5 million nonprofits they could be giving to, and they chose us, you know. So yes, first of all, we'll have to have a one-on-one chat about that, a gentle one, but just to let them know. And second of all, they're getting off the phone. They're not going to be on the phone. And before they get back on the phone, they will sit in training, which they probably should have been through in the first place. But hey, maybe they're having a bad day. Everybody's not an expert at keeping their personal issues, or maybe it's even something that happened in the coffee, in the break room. Maybe one of the other volunteers bumped their car. We don't know why, but that's all irrelevant. What's the pertinent fact right here, right now, is that a donor feels disrespected, and yes, now I have to go that extra mile to appease them, but and I should make you do it.
That's what I was about to say. I don't think that I should do it. I
Well,
think that
you
they
know
should do
what?
it.
We could do it on. We can do it on with both of us on, speakerphone. We sure can.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying because yeah. Another thing is that just like you said, I've been, doing customer service for God knows how long. And one thing about it is I noticed, have you noticed that with Publix and Kroger, even Walmart, but I'm going to go with Publix and Kroger. I did not in the beginning when I first moved here to the ATL. I was like, I am not about to go to Publix. They are too expensive. But I have found out the reason why they can have their prices hiked up like that because they are customer service oriented.
Yes, very much so.
I mean, whatever you want. So they know that people will pay for kindness.
Yes.
People will pay to be to feel respected.
Yes.
People will pay you to just feel like, you know what, I matter.
Right.
And
right.
So with that being said, that's just anybody being human.
And that's my biggest thing is, no, I'm not going to say I go rushing to the highest dollar store just because they have great, customer service, but customer service is my thing. That's my ism. If negativity is a thing of yours and you're in customer service, I can't do it. And that's why I say, driving cross country and you're in and out of truck stops and warehouses and hey, if you can tell who's there for a check and you can tell who's there to be helpful. And nobody, okay, well, in the interview, well, I just want to be helpful. Donate my check. No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is you can tell the people who really don't want to be here. And you do have some of those at Walmart, not as many as you used to. I will say that. Walmart used to be horrible. But, yeah, Publix is great. And on that note, may I just do a shameless plug? It's not even a plug for me, honestly. But Publix, folks, Publix has a community grant. So yes, and it's not the kind of grant where you have to write it. It's an my favorite. My favorite kind, the application grant where you answer a lot. It's a lot of questions, but you know what? And I know this is way off topic, but we did say we want to start giving resources each episode. So this is a resource. This is a tip. When you're doing an application grant, you will learn a lot about you and your organization because it's going to ask, this kind of grant is going to ask questions that you actually have to sit back and think. And you may not be able to finish that grant in the same day because you have to think like, wow, I never looked at it that way. Or what, okay, what does our program offer? How will I, you have this program idea and you have like a 2-line elevator pitch for it, but you've never gone into deep thought about the different aspects of it. So just wanted to put that out there. The Publix Community Grant. All
right. That's a nugget for our listeners.
Yes.
That's a nugget. So we're going to always have nuggets for you. So, because see, one thing about it is this. I should start calling myself Sheila, Let's Connect Hardy. Because it's about a connection. Oh, I got one for you too. And it's like connecting. We need to connect in order to be powerful.
Right.
I mean, and get things done.
Right.
These little Band-Aids, I can't deal with Band-Aids. Apparently I have to deal with them, but I don't like to deal with them. And with Ericka, I call Ericka, I'm on fire, Scott. So.
And yeah, I take it that's your final answer because that's like the 5th time you said that today.
So it's about, because we're both about getting things done.
Right.
However, with Ericka, probably you'll know that, first of all, I admire her because, she's like, yeah, I'm not trying to lie, nothing like that. I'm just seeing.
No lies allowed.
No lies allowed. I see how she's like, okay, let's do this. And she's like ready to go. I'm a little laid back. I'm like, yeah, but let's kind of muddle through this. I'm the type of person that I need to see the whole picture. So
Right.
what she does with me is she sees my flaws. She sees the stuff that kind of goes against how she does things, but she's patient with that, and she knows that some of my strengths. I got some strengths, guys. I do. I have some strengths.
You do. You do.
And she sees that. So it's all about, and we have to, as leaders or as visionaries, we have to see the same thing with the people that surround us.
Right.
And it goes to the fact of they, excuse me, I'm sorry. And it goes to where the people that surrounds us also should be in a learning mode,
Yes.
because you don't know what's in you until you start experiencing certain things and you find yourself being creative and didn't even know that was in you.
Yes. Yes.
And so it's not that we just want you to be on our team and help our mission, but also you got something, or the people that are surrounding us have something inside too.
Right.
That's going to just come out and you're like, whoa. And one thing about it, be aware that, if you got a good leader, they're going to help fuel
Yes.
the potentials that you have inside of you. They're going to do that.
Right.
And that's when you're following the right type of people. See, I keep hearing people say, you know what, I'm not a follower, I'm a leader. But my thing is this: if you know how to follow and you know who to follow,
Yep.
that makes you a leader right there.
Right.
Because there's some people you following, and you heard about the blind leading the blind. If you find yourself, following somebody that's blind, that's on you. That's something
Right.
that's on you. But
Right.
when you start seeing somebody that says, you know what, I can do this. This person has equipped me to, or not so much as equip, but to support that person, to say, you know what, I know you can do this. So when you give that person an assignment, it's telling the leader is saying to you, I know you got this in you.
Right.
Or
right.
you may not, but I believe you got this thing. The word belief is really a good word. I believe you have this in you. So go for this.
Right.
I'm giving you this assignment. Let's see what you can do.
Right.
Now, if you can't do that, then that's not saying that you're not powerful. That's not saying anything like that. That's just letting me know that particular thing that I wanted you to do, you're just not either ready for it, or that's not your cup of tea.
Well, okay, so it sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like you're saying a good leader builds other leaders.
Yes.
Or can identify and help. They're already a leader, but they may need to be, developed into a strong leader. Is that
Correct.
what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And even if you're a teacher, have you noticed that teachers, I'm talking about the school system, or any, if you're called to teach, this is what teachers do.
Right.
Teachers can actually see your potential. They can actually see it. If they are called to teach, if that is something that's in them, they can actually see it.
Right.
Now, you may not see it at that particular time, but they can if they're called to be a teacher. Everybody's not called to be a teacher.
Right.
So,
well, I think you're right on with that one. And conversely, I would say this, because I get this a lot. So you started your nonprofit, and you have a go-getter. You have someone who's giving their all, and their why, as far as volunteering with you or interning with you or whatever, is because what they want to do when they graduate college is to go into something similar to this, and you're alarms go off like, oh, they may try to be my competition. The easiest way, the only way I can ever, because I've had people tell me that, and you didn't, try to get paid from that idea, and they blew up off of your idea. And look, I'm a believer. I'm a faithful believer. And I truly believe that what God has for me, nobody can take away. So yes, I will share and I think that's why I'm not scared to share everything with you. And it's not for kudos. I don't, you don't thank me, thank God. But, some people they don't understand how they choke themselves out. They choke themselves out, even in a carnal, natural way from, helping other people. They don't want to help other people because they don't want to, let go. They want to hold on to it. And it's like, man, you cannot, first of all, if you're in a nonprofit, then you have to give it all away. You're here to give it away anyway. You're here to get it from one and give it to another. So you're just a conduit, but don't be that dead end. Don't be that cul-de-sac. Be that throughway, 8 lanes all open, 8 lanes all open, and let everything, just all the blessings or whatever you want to call it, just flow through you.
Well, the
Amen.
only way a person can do that is when they know who they are. See, you
Right.
already know who you are. You
Yeah.
already know what the deal is. You're talking about a mature person.
Right.
That's what you're talking about. There are people that are starting out and don't even know that. There are people that are as old as we are, and I'm not saying we're old, but I'm just saying that is up there. And for example, we had talked with another organization, and this other organization they knew about us, and they had introduced themselves to another organization that was from the ATL, because they were in Texas. You probably know
Right.
what I'm talking about.
Right.
And the people from Texas was trying to introduce us so we can connect.
Right.
I tried to connect. That person never connected with me. And I'm like, okay, this would have been really great, because
Right.
again, I'm about unity, because that's where our power is. Our
Right.
power is in unification. It always will be.
Right.
But all this money that's out there, can you imagine?
You can't spend it all. Your
Can you
nonprofit cannot spend it all.
Can you imagine the people come together, and let's say that people that they have housing on their mind.
Right.
Now, you know what they're doing. The big corporations are buying up these houses.
Yes.
That's what they're doing, because
Yes.
that they knew what to do. And could you imagine us nonprofits who are talking about getting houses, getting land and everything, that we combine our efforts
Right.
to do that? Can you imagine what will happen? Oh my goodness.
Awesome. Pure awesomeness. Pure awesomeness.
And then we would actually charge people to be able to, live affordably. I mean, that's what we would do.
Right. Well, that's the whole concept of Habitat for Humanity, who I'm a big supporter of. And it's just that. It's coming together, corporations coming together with a nonprofit to build affordable housing, and it's awesome.
And it's pretty bad that you have to go to that length to build affordable housing.
Right.
And I'm sorry to say it that way, but it's pretty bad that the system won't do it. So we have to do what the system is actually supposed to do. So we find ourselves, well, the system's not doing it, so we got to try to do this. And then we end up, see, this is how interesting this is, and I could be wrong. We end up taking money, taxpayers' money, right?
Right.
And instead of the politicians doing what they're supposed to do so we can have affordable housing, now we're still taking our money, and they're saying, oh, yeah, we'll give you grants and everything like that. It's our money. Now, I could be wrong, but it's our money. I don't know nobody else's money, but it's ours. And instead of taking that money and starting to do that in the beginning, now we're saying, oh, I got to apply for this grant in order to do this. To me, that's a bunch of hogwash. It's bad. That's me. I'm sorry. So
now, how would you rather see it be done?
Again, I would rather see it where it starts off where we have affordable housing. It shouldn't be where look what's happening now. This is 2022, okay, and we are talking about how the housing market has gone up. People, if you notice that $7.25 an hour wage is still out there.
Yep.
All I'm saying is, if we were supposed to do what we're supposed to do, in political arena, I don't believe that we would have to go through all this, what we're going through. We got people on the street.
Yeah.
They're working, but they can't afford rent.
Right.
That's not right. It's not right.
I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you might know, I heard that there are family, like 2 and 3 and sometimes 4 families in, in like long, extended stay places.
Yeah.
And the extended stay places are like up to $4,000 a room.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go into it. I'm not going to go into it. I know my own issue from one lease to another when I rented a house a couple of years ago, $425 from one lease to another. It increased by 400. Who does that? Oh, Georgia. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm from New York. We were, on the picket line for rent control and got it. But this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Right. So if we do it the right way in the beginning, we wouldn't have to go through all this, because they say, oh, we're having a problem with homelessness.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, you taking our money and then you're causing this mess. This is why we need to vote correctly. And I'm sorry that I'm saying it like this. No, I'm not. We need to vote, and we need some people. Ericka, I'm telling you, you need to run. We need some people that need to represent us.
Well, I know. Hey, y'all, how to effectively communicate for your nonprofit? Well, believe it or not, your nonprofit is going to have to cross into the political arena, unfortunately, because that is who holds the key to a lot of the grants and the money, whether it's a federal grant, a state, county, city, another community nonprofit, but are you saying something?
No.
Oh.
I'm listening to you.
But it is like I just reached out to Senator Raphael Warnock, and because he is also a strong supporter in prison reform. So I am going to ask him when he communicates back with me, what resources, prayerfully resources, does a community nonprofit, yes, I'm new, but what resources are available to community nonprofits like Life Changers, like Because It's Personal, like, animal shelter, because, and correct me if I'm wrong, Sheila, but this is kind of why we started this podcast, because we needed a place just for nonprofits to be able to connect with other nonprofits. Well, I want to know what you're doing in your nonprofit. But guess what? I can't reach out to everyone. We needed a place for them to be able to reach us, right? So yeah, there are things that the politics need to share with us and not hold close to their vest for whatever reason. But I know politicians, they have their favorite nonprofits that they like to support and throw their political weight behind and all that. But we need to get in their face too. So. I think like you said, there's strength in unity and numbers, and we can get together and make some things happen.
Well, that is awesome. And with that being said, we want to say thank you for listening to us, and keep listening, because when you change the way you look at things, the way you look at things change.
Yes.
Ericka, thank you so much for giving us you, your point of view, and you're wanting to just let us know that you care about people, and you're doing that through this podcast. So thank you so much for allowing people to hear your point of view.
Well, I appreciate you as well, co-host.
Right.
Because
Okay.
your brilliance may not come across in every episode, but I know just where your heart is, and that's what we're all about. It's not just to say, "Oh, I founded a nonprofit." No, I'm putting my mouth, where my heart is. And so with that, if you are interested in advertising with us, please go to our website, thecnnpodcast.com, and click that advertise button. And also, if you are interested in being a guest, please go to the website and click the Be a Guest tab. So, Sheila, until next time, how about we all just be awesome and be blessed?
Amen.
Amen.